It may be shocking to believe, right? But I was having trouble wondering what I was going to talk about today. But today's topic is about time. The 2013 film. I mean, I was looking at it just a second ago and I was like to myself, Rachel, obviously, Rachel, we all love Rachel, right? Rachel is in Rachel is in like two big, massive films, right? Two, you guess you could say, yeah, rom-coms in the way that, but I feel like even, I was thinking in my head, yeah, when I was now, like, this is where I'm going to start off. I'm starting off with Rachel. I was like, oh, but like, is The Notebook better than About Time? Both of them are films that are both around, like, exactly, are around film, are about, I mean, time, sorry, and are about relationships, okay? The Notebook, I suppose, is more like, do you know what I mean? Like, I just mean I feel like they both have the same sentiments. It's hard to say which one is better than the other. Like, obviously, The Notebook has Ryan Gosling, and then About Time has, yeah, I actually don't know how to say his name, but I know that, yes, isn't he from, he's from Ireland, but I don't know how to say his name. That's why. So I'm like, yeah, but I don't know if that was the right pronunciation or not. But so obviously that's who her co-star is. Maybe when you think about it, Ryan Gosling is the better co-star. Maybe that's what it is, and why people will probably say if they were to choose between one or the other. So I suppose it's like, yes, if you have a cheesecake or a cake, which one are you really choosing? Even though I think in my head, I would choose About Time. And only because, obviously, maybe yes, it's because of bias, because About Time is one of my favorite films. And I would choose About Time because I feel like the story as a whole, like, in a way, I feel like obviously The Notebook has more of a rocky storyline in the way that, like, they are together, um then they part, then she almost ends up getting married to somebody else. Then obviously he's like, remember, Ryan Gosling's like, what do you want? She's like, I don't know what I want. And then she's like, why didn't you write me? And he's like, yeah, I wrote you, you just didn't receive them. And then also, then I suppose, then yes, she gets dementia, and then, or is it, it's dementia or Alzheimer's, either one. And then, but then they're quite similar anyways, but she gets one of them, and then obviously she doesn't remember him, but he obviously keeps going back there in the way that she does remember eventually. That's why, this is what I'm saying about Time and The Notebook. I'm just saying in the way that About Time is more um concrete. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think that obviously The Notebook tries to tell us that even if you do have, if you do somehow manage to lose your memories over the years, that the love still remains, and that you can always like, you can always get it back if you need to. I feel like, as in, it will never really leave. I think that's what the message is really supposed to be, in the way that, yeah, love is, what do you call, a powerful emotion, I feel. But then I just mean that with About Time, it's like, that by the end of About Time, right, they're together, and there's no way that they wouldn't be as well. Because also, remember, with About Time, he realizes that he's been spending his life going back and forth in time, and then he really decides that going back in time and time traveling, it's not, he doesn't really need to do it. Like, it's so interesting. Like, that's why when I wrap my head around about time as a film, I'm like, oh, imagine if you did have the ability to time travel. But it's like, would you really? Because obviously time traveling, you miss out on so many moments, and you're also only going back to the ones that you really want to see. And that's a bit weird. So that's what I'm saying. Then you're missing out on all the other minor ones. Do you know what I mean? And then I think that's what I like about time, because I suppose whenever anyone handles time travel as a concept, like, it's in the way that you see people when they time travel, like, they just want to do it for so many different reasons, and they want to, like, what's the word? Reshape the world. It's like, exactly. It's like Thanos's what's it called when he had the gems. He was saying, oh, he wanted to restart the world in his own image or wherever, but it wasn't even like, that's what he said, and sure, it sounded great, whatever, but that was to him, like, that was only in his image. He wasn't thinking about everybody else. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I usually think they do with time travel anyways. Like, most time travelers in general are selfish people, because they don't think about the repercussions or the consequences of time traveling, in the way that it can, it can change this, like, stuff that is already set in stone. I think, also, like, on the subject of time traveling, I think I'm watching Twinkling Watermelon, which obviously can just coincide with this, just because they're both time traveling stuff. But it's in the way that while I'm watching it, I'm like, yeah, is it, of course he was brought to his dad's time, but is it a good thing that really he connects with his father, he connects with his mother? No, it's not. Like, Twinkle Watermelon is the type of drama, actually, that I couldn't say where I know where it's ending. I couldn't say I know anything about the ending, actually. I mean, and it's good, and I think that's a good way to watch things anyways. Like, I think I like watching stuff that are unpredictable, because, yeah, when it's predictable, you just know what's gonna happen, and, like, you can easily say what's gonna happen, and I think that can get boring very fast. Do you know what I mean? So that's why, like, the when it's unpredictable, it's more like, wow, I really want to dive into this story, and I want to find out what happens even more. And that's why, obviously, that's what I was saying about time travelers and their selfishness, because he's like, wow, I've gone back in time, and now I'm connecting with my father, and I'm getting to connect with him also over a passion that I love. But it's like, you're not really thinking about, oh, what will happen if I do connect with my father, and and all this other stuff. Does that mean I'm erased from the timeline? Or what does it mean? Do you know what I mean? So this is my whole thing. But you see in about time that it's like, he's not he's not a selfish time traveler. Like, he time travels, yes, but he's like, oh, I don't want to do this for the rest of my life, really. So he's like, it's better to just live in the current moment. And honestly, moments are so fleeting, so temporary. And I do think that's why with About Time, a lot of us look back on it and say, imagine if we did have a time machine, like I was saying, and would we really choose to go back? But I just do think that this film shows, yes, the dangers of doing that, though, anyways, because with everything, I think with everything, that's what films tried to tell us anyways. With everything, there is a price. Like, you can be a time traveler, but, like, don't time travel too much. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously there's gonna be a thing where stuff is not gonna go your way, and obviously that is what the entire message is. And actually, like recalling this film, I actually feel like I'm due a rewatch. Actually, just because, yes, I'm due a rewatch because I do think films like this, anyways. Because it's like how I rewatched Soul the other day, and I was just like, films about life, like most films are about life, anyways. But I just mean films that really are, they leave us with life lessons and messages. They're films really to look back on because obviously your perspective changes as you age. So it's like even in how About Time, obviously Tim is 21 at the time as well, and so he learns obviously from his father that he's able to time travel, and probably at 21 that's like life changing to him, really. And I feel like maybe 21 in the way is really what you feel like is the start of your life. Basically, it is the beginning. It's not like, oh yeah, you were born and then it's like, one, two, three, all of those, yes, they all come into play. But really, when you're like at 21, there's more to do you know what I mean? And then he also looks at it like, oh, he wants to also fall in love with Mary, obviously. So that is what his whole thing is. Even though, obviously what you think about time actually, it's like obviously he could have fallen in love with Mary, like exactly without time travel. I think he also comes to realize that too. Like, like he's like, oh, I don't really need to lean on this time travel thing, it's not a make or break. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he can actually do without it. It's just in knowing that it's there is just like very interesting. But yeah, no, like, okay, so what I was saying, Amber, about about Soul is just because when I rewatched Soul, yeah, I was just like, wow, like I think I've rewatched Soul a few times, but when I rewatched it the last time, it was just like I understood, like, I understood like exactly the existence of life and what it means. I don't even know, like my third eye opening, but just in the way that like you can just live life, like even the main character in Soul, for instance, as well, he was looking at it like, oh, I have to have a passion, like what is my purpose, what is it that I'm set here to do? And it's like we always do this as human beings, like we want to put a magnifying glass on exactly on our existence, what it is that we're set here to do. And I'm just like, we don't really need to do that, like it's fine if we don't always know. And I think that's also what Soul teaches me as well, just in the way that it's okay to not know. Like, even I think people can, even with looking at Soul, actually, the main person that you would probably look at and really think about is obviously the one he meets there. He meets in the other world, and obviously she's just like, oh, I don't know what I want to be, and I don't even know if if I deserve to 22. I don't really know if I deserve to live. But then 22's whole thing of approaching life was like looking at the beauty of it, and that's okay to do that, really to be in your own skin and say, I'm looking at life, I'm experiencing life, I'm getting to experience life. So obviously there's all these things, but not to focus on the bad, really, and to say, oh yeah, what is my purpose? And I think what I've always now thought about life is we spend years of our life like looking for our purpose. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's weird, we don't ever really reach there. And I don't think exactly, like, we shouldn't really chase it. That's the thing. Like, chasing it is not good, because it's like, I think it's in a way, it's like gambling in a way. Like, you know what I mean? Not to shade any of the gamblers out there, but like, it's like gambling in a way, because of course you will keep gambling as to say eventually you'll win. Do you know what I mean? But it's like, let time do its thing. And oh my gosh, me saying let time do its thing obviously is exactly what the premise of About Time is. We said, like, I think that's what's so interesting. And I meant the question that I keep saying to you guys is that is the question that it asks us, the audience. It says to us, yes, if you had a time machine, would you even use it? Do you know what I mean? Like, you probably wouldn't, because I think we all eventually, as people, we start to understand the what do you call it, we understand the worth of memories, and being able to look back on a memory, not in a way, exactly, not being able to revisit it, but just be able to look back on it in our minds. Like, that's more perfect than that. And I think, you know what I also love about a good memory is being able to recount that memory with somebody else. I mean, like, it's all well and fine me recounting a memory on my own, being like, oh, I remember when I rode a bike for the first time. That's all well and good. But I meant, like, being able to say, oh, this was when we met for the first time. That's even more gorgeous. Like, I meant, that's obviously even the two main characters in the film. That's them. Like, imagine, like, wow, what our first meet was, like, that's gorgeous. But they're not even in the romantic sense. For me, I look at it, yes, a lot of memories I look back on with people are with my friends. I'm like, I look back on the first time I met my friend, and it's like, we've been friends for years, and to think, our first meeting was so long ago, and you're like, we are still friends today. And I think, like, you meet people in such funny ways, that's even what we see in movies. Like, you meet people in such weird ways, and, like, they become a part of your life, and you can't imagine living life without them. Another film that just came to mind as well is obviously everything, 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 everywhere, all at once. Of course, I feel like everything all at once is more to do with, I wouldn't really say it's to do with time as much, because everything all at once really does of course, yes, it kind of is to do with time as well, just because obviously we do see that whole scene of where Michelle Yeoh is, like, in those different time um things, and where I think in that scene, remember, it's where she's on so many different jobs. But I know that my most memorable thing about everything all at once, I suppose, which is why I said I don't really think, oh, when I think about that film, I think of time. I more think about, like, the mother and daughter issues that's raised in that film, more so than, like, anything to do with more than anything to do with being everything everywhere all at once, because obviously the film says a Chinese immigrant gets unwillingly in embroiled in an epic adventure where she must connect different versions of herself in the parallel universe to stop someone who intends to harm the multiverse. Like, yes, it's to do with time, but, like, I feel like, remember, when you think about a film, like, I don't feel like obviously everything all at once, like, its center is time, though. Remember, it generally is Michelle's character and her daughter in the film. Like, that is what the storyline is, and I think it is what everyone does look back on. It's what I've heard anyways. Do you know what I mean? And usually you see it in a lot of different edits. Like, I usually see it in mother-daughter edits. And, like, obviously you especially see, like, in mother-daughter edits, you usually see, like, that film, and you see Lady Bird as well. But, like, that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying you don't necessarily just always think time, even though it's in there. I really do generally just think about that. But I do get the sentiment of exactly wanting to, or being everything everywhere all at once. You could say, like, that happens to all of us in the way that we probably look back on versions of ourselves while living like living the version that we're on now. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think that's normal because I mean, like, you would probably look back on a past job that you've had, whereas you're now in a different one. Do you know what I mean? That is the same thing. And you'd look back on that version of yourself and think about how that version of yourself is different from the other one. This is cute. This says this pleasantly unique film isn't just a love story, it's a life story. It showcases a variety of relationships that go beyond the traditional rom-com stereotypes. The story is uplifting, the acting is excellent, and the humor is plentiful. It made me want to be a better person, and I'm very glad I saw it. And then we're all traveling through time together every day of our lives. All we can do is do our best to relish this remarkable ride. Yeah. Oh my god. And then, also, there's this song in About Time that is one of my, like, bro, that song is, like, my favorite song. And I think, I really enjoy finding a good song in a movie, actually. But then it's like, it's not as to say that really I connect that song to the movie afterwards, but it's like, it's just it's very interesting when you find a song, when you find a song from a movie. Like, I think, like, sometimes depending on what the song is, you'll attach it to the movie. Like, I think, okay, one song, of course, I think you're attached to the movie always is probably like the song, what's it? Easy like Sunday morning. and that's from what do you call it? That's from, oh, is it? Because hold on a second. I need to make sure that I remember this or not, because if I'm wrong, then this is what I'm saying. See, Easy Like Sunday Morning. You attach that song to Cat in the Hat because obviously he's swinging on the swing, and it's just like that. Yeah, you attach that song to it as well. And then also, okay, yeah, sidebar, Cat in the Hat. You say Easy Like Sunday Morning, and also yeah, the one where Cat Hat's in that sparkly outfit. He's in the sparkly outfit with the fruit hat. Yeah. And then also something like All Star. Remember, All Star is attached to Shrek. That's obvious. Like, that's what's so funny. Like, there's some songs I feel like that you can disconnect from a film, but some of them, though, you generally can't. Like, the Shrek ones, no. Especially also Changes as well. No. Even though, like, it's funny because Changes, people always are like, oh, Changes from Shrek is better than Changes by David Bowie. And I'm like, what? I mean, I can see that though. I can see that, and I can understand it. But still, like, I love Changes with David Bowie, but I guess I also love Changes from Shrek too. I do think it's a great cover. I mean, if anything, but it's not a lot. Like, I mean, it's not often. Sorry, that like a cover replaces an original. I feel it happens, it's a very, it's a rare Pokemon. Like, it doesn't happen very often. Like, I know we like to think that it does, but it doesn't. Like, sometimes a cover, like, obviously has to be so from out of from the original, and then to say that remember the original is David Bowie is a bit crazy. Like, Starman David Bowie, I don't know about that though. But anyways, sorry, back to About Time. So the song About Time, yes, is Into My Arms by Nick Cave. Obviously Nick Cave did he did Oh Children as well. And you see, again, Oh Children is attached to Harry Potter Deathly Hallows Part 1. Because hold on, I was going to say 2, but it's Part 1. So yeah, Nick Cave has done that, and he's also obviously done Red Right Hand with Peaky Blinders. So then you attach Red Right Hand to Peaky Blinders. That's obvious. But this in the way that I think with Into My Arms, of course I don't really attach Into My Arms to this film. I meant like of course it's from this film, but again, I don't because I feel like um I feel like it's such a good song that you probably can disconnect it though, you know? Like it has such a great message, like just in the way that like, you know, it's really about I guess loving somebody so much, I mean, and like protecting them. And that's why I think the song is so precious, you know, and I think of course that's why it fits in About Time as well. Because obviously it's just like it's just you know, I can't explain it. Like, well, like now that that you're at this moment, listen to the song. Like, this would be a great moment for you to pause the episode and listen to the song, and then you'll see what I'm saying. I think that, like, that's what I mean. It's so hard sometimes to explain a song in like, yes, in words. I mean, I just mean it's about what the song makes you feel. I can only explain it from my perspective, and I can only say that it's become one of my favorite songs, but like not because it's like I feel like yes, you could say it's got my favorite song because of course, as I said earlier, About Time's one of my favorite movies, so I suppose they do balance out each other. So yeah, but as I said, I gotta explain the song to you. You'll know when you hear it. So do that now. Obviously, like I don't know if you did listen to the song or not, but like if I feel like also Into My Arms is a great, like, what do you call it? It's a great like wedding song, I feel. I mean, we'll just like a song to dance with somebody with. I remember one time like this is law for you guys. One time I used this song like as a I used this song in a scene in one of my stories before because like I was like, yeah, like that's how you know actually the song changed me so much, because whenever I try to, what's it called, like insert music into a story that I'm writing, it's because obviously like I love music and I like that song so much. So, and that's why I feel like Into My Arms works in that way of like when you share a dance with somebody, and because it's titled Into My Arms. So like, you know, like it is what it says on the tin. Like Into My Arms, we're like, yes, you're dancing with somebody and you're holding them in your arms. Like that's the whole premise. It's also like, you know, when you think of Turning Page from Breaking Dawn as well, like Turning Page is again, I think people say it is a very popular like wedding song, you know what I mean? People like to play it down the aisle, plus I guess the song that the groom and bride dance to. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, and I was gonna go on a tangent and talk about popular wedding songs, but I think you know. I think you know. Like, I'll say one more before I move on. Obviously, I Think I Want to Marry You by Bruno Mars, but that would be obvious. And also, oh yeah, like people usually use what's the other one? The Ed Sheeran song. I think Take Me Into Your, what's the, I forget what it's called again. Touch me under the light of 1,000 stars. Take me, oh, is it Thinking Out Loud? Yeah, when your when your legs don't work like they used to before. Yeah, Thinking Out Loud. But they use that one as well. That's basically, yeah, most of the songs I have. But you know what's funny? On the subject of wedding songs, I will give you guys, I'll give you guys my playlist because I'm so nice. Like, yeah. And it's not weird that I have a wedding playlist, because this is what I'm saying. You guys should know, if I'm talking about Time right now, you should know that means me as a person for liking About Time means I must be quite a, you know, like, I must be quite a romantic person. So that means, of course, I would have a wedding playlist, and I'm going to use it in the future. That's why I made it. I like always, anyways, for me, I like to be prepared anyways. I think that's why I made that playlist. It's like, exactly, you don't want to come to your wedding and like, it's like coming to your wedding to the future and they're like, oh, what do you want your song to be? And we're like, well, I don't know. And then that's one thing as well on the agenda. Like when you have to curate a wedding, because they are, exactly, they're strenuous. That's what I'm saying. Then you guys are gonna have to get into a discussion about what the wedding song will be. But if you already have the playlist ready there and and able, we said then we don't need to get in. We don't need to get in like spits about this. Do you know what I mean? And maybe I should even use my wedding playlist as like, as to spit game, because I think it would work somehow. I do. Honest opinion, I do think it would work, because you would say to somebody, right, you'd be like to them, I have a wedding playlist. You'd be like, go through it, and then you'd be like, so do you want to marry me? Right? And I think music anyways, music goes hand in hand, right? I just mean in the way that like you want somebody, right, who likes the same music you do. Not that it's a requirement, but I just mean that it helps. Like, of course, if somebody doesn't like the same music you do, that's fine. But you might also like it because they like it. This is what I also think happens in relationships in general. Like, sometimes when you're with a person, things grow on you, and it's bound to happen. This is what I'm saying. So my whole thing is, I just think that, yeah, like someone would look through my wedding playlist and they'd be like, yes, she's definitely wife material. Like, I just mean like they would look at it then and then, they'd be like, yeah. They'd be like, yes, I'll take your hand in marriage. I'll do it right now. So yeah, funny how I'm talking about marriage. Like, hello, I'm actually single. Crazy work. But I feel like, yeah, me being single doesn't mean anything. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, About Time's one of my favorite films. So is yeah, I spoke about The Notebook earlier. Like, I was saying, okay, I said, remember, that I would choose About Time over The Notebook, and I really would. Just because, like, yeah, just because maybe, yeah. Maybe I just feel like I was saying about The Notebook, I just mean that, like, yeah, I don't even necessarily like the, I don't like the, the forgotten trope. I don't like that. Like, as in, like, when a couple or one of them forgets the other, I don't really enjoy that. It's the same way how I've said to you guys before, I don't necessarily even I don't enjoy love triangles anymore. So it's like, I don't enjoy like memory loss tropes. I don't find them fun. Like, I mean, of course we're not supposed to, but I just mean, like, I don't like them. So I think for me, that's why I wouldn't choose The Notebook, like, them to, like, side by side, just on that basis alone. Like, I feel like everything else with The Notebook is all well and fine. Like, everything else that happens in it. Like, I meant, like, in the way that, remember when The Notebook starts, like, Ryan Gosling's character, yeah, he's set on having, what's her name? It was Ali, isn't it? Yeah, he's set on having Ali, like, I meant, like, from the very beginning. I think it's the scene that comes to mind is when, obviously, they're at that fair, and so, obviously, he spots her, but she's with another guy, and then, obviously, he just kind of, like, yeah, he sets his sights on her. Do you know what I mean? But, like, he doesn't want anybody else. He just wants her. And I think also, yeah, he also does that crazy thing where he climbs up on the ride, and then obviously he's like, will you go out with me? And then obviously she just has to say yes because he climbed all the way up there. So then it's like she's not gonna say no because that exactly. He came up there, and that's dangerous. And then obviously it's also very impressive as well. Well, like who would that not work on? Do you get what I'm saying? But then so obviously, yeah, I feel like that's the whole great thing of the film. And then I suppose I know it's like, as I said about the message earlier, it's about the fact that love doesn't erode. But like, I don't know. I really don't know. Like, I guess I can't really even can I really explain it? No. All I can tell you is About Time is a great film. And I think also with About Time, it made me look at time in a different way. And I think that is what it's supposed to do anyways. But like, that is literally what I've heard people say. I will get to, guys, my favorite part that I do in episodes, which is Letterboxd reviews. We'll get there later. But like, I do think that what I've seen people say is that it makes people process moments better. Like, do you know what I mean? So I think that is why it's such an important story. Like, we all need to not take moments for granted, and we all need to like see the worth in them as well. And like, also, look back on them, and also in the way that like, I feel like, yes, social media is bad. Like, hello. Yes. But it's like, yeah, social media is bad. But we also have to be on our phones in a way to capture memories. We want to share those memories with people that we love. So, it's a bit of a, two-sided coin. What can you do about it, really? Like, we're here to be on here to share moments with people, but there's also the downside that we won't talk about. You already know. You already know. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like I've been watching so much YouTube videos as well that are about the negatives of social media, and also like, I guess, trying to take ownership and control of your life and not letting social media control you. And it's weird because every time I watch those videos, I'm like, oh, I try to, yes, take control, but then it's the whole thing that I know that I'm not doing it, if that makes sense. Like, I'll try to do it a little bit, but I'm not doing it in the way that like the person in the video was saying to do it. Like, the fact that I remember the video I was watching, she was like, yeah, you shouldn't let your phone be the first thing, obviously, that you reach for in the morning. That's fine. But I can't even necessarily not do that anymore, because I got rid of my clock that was in my bedroom. And I remember the clock used to tick even when I was recording episodes for you guys. It would tick in the background, and I was like, no, like, I don't like it. And for one, actually, it's not even that I didn't like it because you guys would hear it. I didn't like it because it would keep me up at night. And I was like, no. I think it's because it just sounded so loud. It's giving like the clock in the Christmas Carol, like, for some reason, like, because it was so booming and so loud. And it was supposed to be because it was supposed to strike fear in Scrooge's heart, but it was like that. I was like, it was so deafening, and I was like, why is it hurting my head? Like, I just want to go to sleep. So this is my thing. Like, I have to check my phone in the morning because I don't know what the time is. Not unless I want to walk over to the next room, which does have a clock in it. But why would I want to do that? And I think in the morning, you don't necessarily always want to just pounce out of your bed. If you do, congrats. But I'm saying you don't want to just spring out, because that's crazy. At least that you're like, yes, your legs know that like you're awake. Because do you ever see those scenes in films? They always do this as well, remember, where like the person will wake up and then they will have no feeling in their legs and they'll just fall out of the bed. I've always found that scene so funny. I was always like, because this is the thing with films, like, you can't really say if these elements that they put in are really like true or not, because it's so strange. Like, that's never happened to me before, by the way, but I'm just saying that I think like I've heard that that can happen. That's why for me, when I wake up, I lie down like a stone. You know what I mean? Like I lie down like a stone for at least half an hour or 20 minutes because I need to know that like I'm awake and that it's a new day. Otherwise, it's just not gonna work. Like I'm not gonna be able to do anything. So yeah. Fun fact, because obviously I'm on Letterboxd now. But fun fact, like um there was a Korean one titled About Time as well. And I think obviously it's a film and it's the 160 minutes. And obviously people say that yeah, it's one of the worst. Well, that was the first review that I saw. It's just quite possibly one of the worst K-dramas I've watched, which is quite unfortunate because I think the premise is so interesting, but the execution was just not it. Wow. This person gave it a half star, like, as in, you know what I mean? I always get shocked sometimes when I come on Letterboxd and I'm like, yeah, people do rate films like 1 star or a half. I've never done it before, like, and I really pray, like, I mean, to the film gods, like, that I never do. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I do that every time. Do you know what I mean? I'm just like, please, please, I don't want it. I don't want a bad film. If I said if you can help it, like please don't do it. I'd rather not, really. Anyways, yes, we are now looking at the reviews for About Time. And you know, I've never even looked at them before. So actually I'm really excited to look at them and like read them for you as well. To be fair, it's quite fun. Oh, that's so cute. This person rated it Mulaney rated it 5 stars, and that this is the film equivalent of a warm hug. Honestly, gosh, you know, I was talking on my TikTok page the other day actually about warm films, actually, like warm glowy films. And then About Time, I don't think, yeah, no, I was gonna say like, oh, About Time could be classed as a Christmas film, but no, like I keep doing this. I keep wanting to say a lot of festive, like there's all these films that I want to say are festive, even though they're not, because like they're just not. Like as I was saying, even in that post, I was saying that like I just sometimes think to myself at Christmas, yeah, I'm like, oh, I just want to watch whatever I want, like, and no one's gonna say I can't do that, you know. So I that's what I sometimes think, but I suppose, yeah, like I would watch About Time now, and I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. Plus, I would also watch something like a Spiderwick Chronicles as well, and that's just because it's a family favorite, you know. I think like that was when I was watching Rise of Guardians the other day, and then obviously my family were like, "Oh, Rise of Guardians is not a festive favorite." Then I was like, "But Santa Claus is in this film." I was like, "Come on, like, you know, just give it a nudge, give it a nudge. Like, this is like the Santa is literally there. Like, why?" I was like, "This is one of them." Do you know what I mean? And as I said, I do think because it's a child friendly film. I think a lot of child friendly films find their way to be festive favorites. I do. I think that is like a fact as well. Like, remember, think of something like Charlie Brown or Snoopy or even Paddington. We said, yeah, all of those, they all make it on there. Like, do you get it? Because as I said about the warm glowy feeling, they all give you that. So that is why I think that they work, you know, and that yeah, exactly. A festive film favorite is whatever you want it to be. I'm just like that is my opinion. It's whatever you want it to be. So don't even worry about that. So yeah, don't even worry about that. So yes. Oh yeah, they went for a quick little walk and I have not stopped crying ever since. 4.5. You see, I'm not seeing any like, you know, any low anything. Do you know what I mean? Like any low ratings. And I know that, oh, sorry, I spoke too soon. I spoke too soon. I saw 2 stars and I was like, oh, That's what I always do this actually. I always have the way of speaking too soon about things and then they just happen. I'm just like, oh, I didn't mean to say that. You know though, like, when I do think about when something's rated lowly though, like, and then you read it, I do think that like, yes, we can use critical thinking. Like, it's fine. And oh, not to say that I think critical thinking when watching films is bad, because this is the thing, like, and it's something I've been thinking about a lot recently anyways, because I know that like, it's funny because I always think to myself that the way that I view films is not how a lot of other people do. And then like, I'll rate something 5 and then I'll see someone rate it a 1. And then I'm like, oh, like, does that mean it's what you think in it. You're like, oh, am I dumb and they're smart? Because that's what I mean. That is your first thought though, because in the way that they look at the film, you're just like, oh, is that the right way to see it? But, okay, that is even what I just felt like anyways, reading that 2-star review, because I was like, to a certain degree, I can see what the person is saying. But then obviously when I look at a film, it's more for me like, yeah, what the enjoyment is and all the stuff that I pick out from it. Like how I said to you guys, my main thing is the song. Like, it's also what do you call it? It's the main character's relationship with his father, and then also it's him and Mary's relationship as well. Like, those 3 things all together is for me what ties it up and makes it a 5. I think what the person in the review was saying was basically just to do with how like the men in the family get to time travel and obviously the women don't, and then like obviously it's in the way that the men are kind of they get to have control, but then the women don't. So in a way I do get it. So, and then they said something at the end where it was like, of course there's this whole sister thing too, that Tim essentially fixes her by setting up with a man whom he chooses based on his apparently superior judgment, and then she herself on her own had made the bad choice and something like that. So I do see that, because of course I suppose maybe it does make it seem like, I don't know. Yeah, maybe it makes it seem like women shouldn't have the say, but we all know what the film is trying to do. I mean, actually, yeah, like I feel like it's about a father and son sharing, a hidden secret in their family, and then like obviously trying to work out what it is that they'll do with it. I don't, as I said before anyways, because this is what I mean, they're kind of playing into what I was saying about time travelers being selfish. So in a way, you can be like, with their review, I do think you can say yes, because of course, like I said, yeah, time travelers are selfish, and then obviously that's basically what Tim does. I mean, in the way that like in the review, they're also saying that he goes on like these different ways to try to get it right in his meeting with Mary, when like, you know what I mean, like they're just saying that he shouldn't really like fight so hard to get it or get the right meeting, when it should just be about, I guess it should just be about meeting in the first place. But then again, to even play into that, actually, I think to myself, you do want to have the right meeting with a person, like any kind of person. I mean, you want to have the right impression, the right meeting, and like I think all of those, the first one is the make or break, because if you meet someone and you don't really like, exactly, if you don't really feel like you gel with them, I feel like you're not likely to really see them again. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, as in, you're not likely to do it again. So yeah, there's so many factors that could be had out of I guess reading that review. I mean, and it reminds me of like how I sometimes write my own essays, but I don't post them because I don't want to. Um like, okay, like, I mean, of course you guys know I have a Substack, but it's like I don't sometimes write, I don't post the essays on them. Just sometimes. I think the only time I ever post essays on my Substack is when I'm trying to create space. So I'm just like, I think I found an essay I wrote on past lives the other day, and then I posted that because I was like, it had been in my computer for ages, and then I was just like, okay, I'll post it because it's been sitting here for so long. Then I obviously deleted it because I was like, it doesn't need to stay here anymore because it's already out in the world. But my whole thing is that, yeah, them posting their essay onto that box reminds me of that, because I suppose I guess it's not that to say that, oh, what will happen if you post your long-winded review on Letterboxd, but I sometimes when I look at Letterboxd, I don't think it's the place to do it also. Like, I don't know, like, when you see those long ones on there, like, you really do think in your head, like, is this where it should have gone? And it's like, it's also no. Like, I always think sometimes when I come on Letterboxd myself, I find it hard to think if I need to write something long or something short, because you see people write short reviews all the time, and then I guess you think that you should be doing the same thing, I feel. But yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. Like, I almost wasn't going to read this review as well, because that's the whole thing. But then that says more about me than it does about the person. Like, no, that says more about exactly me as the reader than it does the person who wrote it. Because they just wanted to put their thoughts and into perspective. But how crazy is it that yeah, that this had like yeah, this review had like 71 comments. So that means, people really did also agree with this person. That's what I'm saying. And I think that is a good thing, actually. I meant in the world of cinema, it's always good when you can have, when I guess, yes, you can have a review that isn't like everybody else's review, and some people can obviously still see your point of view. Do you know what I mean? It's like, guys, it reminds me of exactly of politicians. Like, politicians never want to speak to understand one another. Like, they never want to do that. Do you know what I mean? They usually, when they want to have debates with one another, they just want to slam each other down. And we're like, well, what's the point of you guys even having this discussion if you're not gonna see things from each other's perspective? It makes no sense. Do you know what I mean? So I think when you look at it like that, you're like, wow, it's good to say that, in the film world, we can have these conversations. A place where you can't have it, though, because, when I keep thinking about the anime community, I've done a few anime episodes on here just because it's like, I like anime, so I obviously like to talk about it from time to time. But it's like, I do think that the anime community is a place where it doesn't feel like there's much, what do you call it? Like, voice or democracy, because like, I feel like with anime, like, people like to say it's like hot takes or all that kind of thing, and it kind of more so feels like if you have a wrong opinion, like, it's wrong. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's more like it's flat out that it's wrong. No one really wants to hear what you have to say about it. So, do you get what I mean? And they also get more, like, they remind me exactly of politician chats in just the way that they get heated fast, because no one's really trying to listen or have sound reasonings. Everyone's just trying to, like, talk over one another, and then they'll say what's right and what isn't. You know what I'm saying? So that's one thing sometimes that I find it hard to digest about the anime community. But as I said about their review, I'm just glad that we have that in the film world. Like, we need it more everywhere else. If that's okay. Everywhere else needs to have that too, because listening to people to listen but to also understand. Say it with me. It's so interesting. Like, this is what I'm saying to you. Like, I just saw another review now, which is 1 star, right? It says, you see son all the way in our family have the ability to time travel. It says, wait, what about the women? And then, oh no, son, that would give them the narrative agency. Anyway, have fun using your powers. Get rid of being a total asshole, stalking and manipulating women while you craft yourself a perfect life formed on the basis of exploitation and lies. It's so interesting. I'm getting all these different perspectives. And then I'm also just like, is it making me see the film in a different way as well? I just mean, like, when you do put it all together and you look at the reviews, it's like it can make it feel like the film is a bit, yeah, anti-feminist. But then I feel like, yes, it possibly could be anti-feminist, but like I've been saying, I do think that, again, it's about a father and son. That's the relationship that's happening. That's the dynamic. It's also, remember what I was saying about Everywhere All at Once. Like, Everywhere All at Once is also about time, but it's also about a mother and daughter relationship, and also just actually just relationships, actually, also in general, same way that About Time has that as well. To wrap up this obviously great looking at About Time, I will say that, yeah, it's funny that rom-coms as a genre, they have like, it's romance and also but there's not much comedy if you look at it really. Like, of course there's a light few jokes here and there, but a lot of the movie is quite sad. So it's quite obvious. I think obviously the review that I just saw was that I came here for a good time, not to be attacked by the feels. And it's like, exactly. and they gave that 4 stars. So it's like, you really don't expect for that to really happen, but that's what this film gives you. It's generally a film about life and the moments that you share with others. Thank you for listening.